And tonight, wild allegations without a shred of evidence. The outburst of Ghana's Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akuffo Dampare, who is tonight ripping apart claims that his inept leadership style is crippling the effective performance of the Ghana Police Service.
Another wild allegation. I don't know which of them, my brothers, who made that statement. Then I could probably ask the committee for him to go with me and tell me where I put it. Because technically, I don't have it. I don't know about it.
The IGP denying masterminding the tape, but there's more unfolding tonight as Parliament's ad hoc committee is vowing to pursue only the truth without malice or prejudice to the integrity of Dr. George Akuffo Dampare or any other individual involved in the scandal.
From day one, ab initio, I stressed that I don't have any incentive to mess up somebody's life and career. What is that going to do for me?
My name is Blessed and this is Stop Story, brought to you by Vodafone. Further together. Wild allegations without a shred of evidence. The words of Ghana's Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akuffo Dampare, as he finally makes the much-anticipated appearance before Parliament's ad hoc committee today, probing an alleged plot to terminate his appointment. For days now, senior police officers, including COP Alex Mensah and a former Northern Regional Chairperson of the New Patriotic Party, Chief Bugri Nabu, have all made damning accusations at the same forum, which is seeking to uncover the veracity or otherwise of an audio clip which has since gone viral on social media, in which some senior police officers, together with Chief Nabu, were heard allegedly plotting to remove Dr. George Akuffo Dampare before the next general elections in 2024. But before we get to the response from the IGP tonight, who's making some appearances before the committee, let's give you a background to some of the claims made in the past at the earlier committee hearings. Samuel Mbura is my colleague who's been monitoring this ever since the story broke. And Sami, today was another episode. Just before we get to that, let's get to how this all started. Chief Bugri Nabu appearing before the ad hoc committee and, of course, setting the probe into motion simply because he first of all admitted to recording the tape, except to say that he was solely giving that out to the president to exact actions on. What did Bugri Nabu say?
Blessed, Mr. Bugri Nabu indicated that there was the need for him to have recorded the tape for the president because of the concerns from the officers. He said the concerns were scary and had national security implications.
My voice is there.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Would you be good enough to tell us the rest of the individuals that you were engaged in that conversation with?
Well, one Commander Asari.
Okay, please go slowly. Yes.
Police commander.
Yes.
But I don't know which district or which region or which section he command.
Okay.
But he introduced himself to me when he came to my office.
Okay.
That he was a police commander.
And Mbura, that was the moment when, of course, the committee then had confidence that there was more to probe. And then next, of course, two other officers appeared, including COP Alex George Mensah, the former Director General of the Technical Department of the Ghana Police Service. He then, beyond the tape, of course, went straight at the competence of the IGP. What was his opinion?
Well, COP Alex Mensah confirms that he had several meetings with Daniel Bugri Nabu for about 4 times, which he said they had conversations about his private plans for retirement and issues surrounding politics. However, what has been captured and circulated in public domain, though has a voice representing him, has been distorted.
Is not managing the police service well. And for me, for the 31 years that I've been in the service, I can tell you he's the worst IGP we've ever had. The role of the rep of PUMA on the council is to go to the council and speak the minds of all police senior officers, not only PUMA. In fact, he represents senior police officers And there is a junior officer too on the council who represent all the junior police officers. And he or she is there to speak the minds of all junior police officers. IGP, who is a member of the council, is the one who speaks the minds of Puma.
And so that is COP Alex Mensah, who then Mbura went ahead to point out and allege that the IGP is the one who masterminded this tape. But we're getting a response for the very first time from the man who's been battered for days. What's the response of the IGP to all of these claims coming before him?
In fact, the IGP was shocked about these allegations of he masterminding the recording of the tape and flatly denied having knowledge about these plots to record them and expose them.
IG, I want all of us to disabuse the perceptions out there. From the onset of these proceedings, the evidence adduced to the fact that the tape was meant for the president. And Chief Bugri Nabu went to the extent of telling the committee that he handed over the tape to the president. I was surprised when the witnesses mentioned that you have the original tape. What can you tell the committee about this? Or what can you say about this? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, another wide allegation. I don't know which of them, my brothers who made that statement. Then I could probably ask the committee for him to go with me and tell me where I put it. Because technically, I don't have it. I don't know about it. So why should somebody come here and make such wild allegation without proving a bit of it? And then I'm asked to respond to it. Honorable Chair, I beg of you. I beg of you. I don't have it. And I pray that maybe going forward, we should make sure when people and made indication that yes, they are involved in what was happening. Then all of a sudden, instead of them to focus on that, they came out with wild allegations. Honorable Chair, with wild allegations that touch my person, the police leadership that I lead, and the entirety of the police service. Without, until today that I'm being told that now they have some evidence, without a shred of evidence. Honorable Chair, at the time that they were making it, without a shred of evidence. And Honorable Chair, those wide allegations without a shred of evidence has brought a lot of pain to myself, my family across the country, and especially my wife and children.
And we're now learning that the minister in charge of national security will be making an appearance before the ad hoc committee tomorrow. It's part of the ever-increasing scope of the issues that the committee is looking into. My colleague Samuel Mbura will be providing us with some details on that. And Bugri Nabu himself, who will be before this committee because the IGP, for the very first time, is commenting on the type of relations he's had with Bugri Nabu over the years. I mean, I'll come to you shortly, but joining the conversation is Justin Teruaja, who is a lawyer and also served one time as a former superintendent of the police service, joining us on the telephone lines now, and also Alfred Papadakwa, who's lawyer for one of the witnesses in this whole hearing, Superintendent George Asare. And it's good to be hearing from you, Alfred Papadakwa. First of all, let me find out from you, are we set to see your client appear before the committee tomorrow?
Hello, good evening. Please come again.
I'm just asking if Superintendent George Asare, your client, will be before the committee tomorrow.
Yes, that's the instructions we have, so he'll be there.
The initial expectation is that he was going to be part of some indoor or in-camera engagements today. Were you disappointed that that did not happen?
Well, I wouldn't say we're disappointed. I mean, I think there were some deliberations among the committee, and they decided that because some of the assertions and allegations that were made in public, it was also good enough for the IG also to respond in public. Because though what is happening is more of a legal thing, it's now become a political trial, or which is being done in the public domain. I mean, so probably they also wanted to give him that opportunity to respond in public, and I think that is what he did today.
Do you think that, and of course you have a full sense of what the position of your client is, that after listening to the Inspector General of Police speak today, that the facts might perhaps change in terms of the perspective from which your client has been looking at this case all throughout?
No. You know, from the onset, I keep on saying that it's not my client against the IGP. This is somebody who had a private conversation with a politician that got leaked. The content of the conversation has now become a subject matter of an inquiry. He is being questioned on their content. Some of the allegations that were made in the content, he was asked if he could prove them, and he said yes, he could give further and better particulars of them. In the wisdom of the committee, giving further and better particulars of these allegations in public will not inure to the national security or has some national security implications. So the committee decided that we will do this in camera. And that is what we have been waiting for.
But also to, reiterate the point that your client was certain that the tape as heard on social media is not the original tape, and that there's more to what we're hearing. The IGP says he has no knowledge about that.
We shall see. When we get into the nitty-gritties, we shall see about that.
Which means that you have evidence to point to the contrary, that the IGP indeed, through his assigns or by himself, may have some foreknowledge of how the tape was procured.
Like I said, we will get there.
It's the reason for which the in-camera hearing is being done. The fact that your client believes there's more to it. Are you going to present that evidence without, admitting what the content is before the committee tomorrow to indeed prove your point that the tape was doctored and probably by the IGP?
I think the allegations that have been made by my client, he still stands by it, and he will be given the opportunity to prove them.
We've seen the IGP today in a rather nice fashion, reconciliatory note, where, of course, he's stretched the olive branch to not just your client, but also COP George Alex Mensah. You've seen all of this play out. Are you willing for some sort of dialogue, reconciling with the IGP and moving on with life? What's the, thoughts of your client on that?
The cameras were there. This issue happened not today. The cameras were there. Maybe you could find out whether, since this issue came, whether he had any interactions with them. Or is it because today the cameras were there and you have to behave in a way that it could be captured by the cameras? I don't know. But, these things, I think we've gone beyond it. The most important thing is that if we are talking about reconciliation, or I think that one it's a personal matter between them. Well, the committee is interested in the allegations that have been made and whether those allegations were just mere speculations and had no weight. These are the things that the committee is interested in. With regard to their personal relationship and reconciliation, I think that one we have to leave it to to them.
And one other outstanding matter that, of course, will come up to you and will be of interest to you is to protect, first of all, the job of your client, and also try as much as possible to advance and adduce the evidence before the ad hoc committee tomorrow. The interdiction suspended now. We don't know if the IGP would want to trigger that. He said that he's recusing himself from any other disciplinary action that may be taken against Superintendent George Asare or COP Alex Mensah. If that leg of the conversation is reactivated, what will you do as lawyers for Superintendent Asare?
I think I'll keep my advice for now. When we get there, we would cross it. If whatever they want to do, I mean, my advice is between myself and my client. I think I'll keep it to my client.
Okay. We wish you well and wait to see what then happens tomorrow as you appear before the committee. But even as we speak, lawyer Justin Terewaja has also been listening and monitoring all of the developments. Counsel, I'll hear from you shortly. Your thoughts on what's transpired today, knowing that you've served in the legal department of the police service also gives you lots of insight and experience into all of this. But there's one issue that comes up which borders on the integrity of the IGP himself and also his working relations with one man who's a star witness in all of this, Bugri Nabu. And Samin Bura, that's why I want to hear from you. The point about having a contract being given out to Bugri Nabu, which we've seen in a purported video where this star witness is also claiming that he's receiving some payments from the Ghana Police Service. What's the response of the IGP in terms of, first of all, the claims about giving out some contracts or dealing with Bugri Nabu, and also the other leg as to whether or not Chief Bugri Nabu, facilitated the appointment of George Akuffo Dampare as the IGP? What's his response?
The IGP, Dr. George Akuffo Dampare, says he doesn't have any relationship with Chief Bugri Nabu in any form. He goes further to indicate that it is untrue he hired Bugri Nabu to record a tape and insisted that he getting to the higher ranks of the Ghana Police Service has not been facilitated by any politician, but based on merit and his academic qualifications. And he says that he, George Akuffo Dampare, has not given any contract to Bugri Nabu.
Honorable Chair, I do not have a working relationship with him.
Inspector General of Police, if somebody alleged against you that you are the architect of the first video or the video, you in cahoots with Chief Bugri Nabu, got these individuals taped, what will be your response to that, sir?
Honorable Chair, that is untrue.
Inspector General of Police.
IG, has Chief Bugri Nabu ever lobbied for you to become or to be appointed Inspector General of Police? Just yes or no?
Honorable Chair, the fundamental point is this. I have been in the service for all this long, by the grace of God.
Angie, I crave your kind indulgence. Your man is saying just answer yes or no. Was he part of the lobbying team to get you, appointed as the IG? Yes or no?
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
The answer is no.
Okay, so he stated that on record. Lawyer Terewaja, your thoughts on that aspect of the conversation?
My thoughts are that these allegations, and it is a tried point of law, that when an allegation is made and it is denied, the onus shifts to the person making the allegation. We often say that he who asserts must prove. So those who are saying that they lobbied for Bugri Nabu to be, for the IGP to be appointed as such, they have the burden of proof. That is, if it is Buhari Nabu or any other person. But the nature of lobbying for somebody is such that unless the person is recorded, if Buhari Nabu goes to lobby to the president and it's a conversation between him and the president believes that the IGP, the current IGP, is the best person to execute the job and he's appointed, in the face of these assertions and denials, it will be difficult to be able to prove it one way or the other. But I will hasten to add that it is early days yet. The proceedings are still ongoing and more revelations are still coming. So we just have to wait and see whether that allegation against the IGP can be proven.
And counsel, we know that you have, immense experience, having worked in the legal department of the Ghana Police Service. There are two issues at stake now. The point about COP Alex Mensah and George Asare, Superintendent, the likelihood of reactivating the disciplinary measures, even as the ad hoc committee completes its work. And possibly, is it likely that the IGP could be triggering some level of interdiction or disciplinary action against himself through the very confirmation is made that indeed he's dealt with Buhari Nabu before, except to say that there's no working relation?
I'm not too clear about the question about IGP triggering disciplinary action against himself. I want to be sure I'm getting the question.
Because we know that the reasons for which the two individuals, COP Alex Mensah and also George Asare, Superintendent, were interdicted was that they were engaged in some sort of political controversy. Now that the IGP is indeed confirming that he has also had some interactions with Buhari Nabu, except to say there's no official dealing, is it likely that in reactivating this disciplinary action against the two, the IGP could also be implicating himself per the code of conduct that you have for the police service?
Yes, that is if it is proven. But for now, it remains a mere allegation. And if it is even proven, then it may get to the level of the police council, because the IGP is the CEO of the police service, and it's the police council that may be able to go to that extent. Of probably placing him on interdiction and then asking for these processes disciplinary action to be taken against him. It will be a rare thing to be done, but that should come from the police council, the level of the police council. But as matters stand now, the people in the people really facing the people, so to speak, in the dock for now are the three police officers. The IGP just came in, and for me, what happened today looks more like a public relations gimmick for the IGP, virtually, giving him the chance to explain how well he's run the service and all of that. And then the other point is, even the terms of reference of the committee, is it about the efficiency of the IGP that they are to look into? I was watching it and I was wondering, what is all this about? Because these are people who came and the issues were about whether they really made those damning statements when they met Buhari Nabu in the attempt to lobby for the position of the IGP, and they were to confirm this. That's the ad hoc committee. And then there were certain red herrings thrown at them as to how the IGP is running a one-man show. And even with that, my take is that when you look at Article 202, Clause 2, it is clear that the IGP is in charge of the operational control and administration of the police service. Now, the police, what you call POMAP, is the Police Management Board. That is just a creature of a CI, a constitutional instrument. Now, the Constitution itself vests the power in the IGP to run the service efficiently. Now, a lesser law, which is a CI, creates a Police Management Board, and what is more, that CI even says that the Police Management Board is an advisory board. It's an advisory body that advises the IGP, and it makes sense because the Constitution gives the power in terms of operational control and administration of the service to the IGP. So this is just a management board to advise the IGP. The IGP got the opportunity today, and he showed that everything he does, he gets their advice. But the point is, if he even takes certain steps without the advice of POMA, it's not fatal because the most important power is with him. It's like the Chief Justice running the judicial service. He may get advice from senior judicial officers and judges, but he has the power per the Constitution to run it, just like the president has power to run this country with the advice from his cabinet.
Okay, and that's where I want us to get into. Where do you see all of this ending? First of all, knowing that the remit of the parliamentary committee, the ad hoc committee, is being questioned. The fact that they, first of all, do not have locus over either terminating or revoking the appointment of the IGP in the first place. Neither do they have explicit authority to exact some punitive measures on COP George Alex Mensah, who's going on retirement, and Superintendent George Asari. Where do you see all of this ending?
For me, the ad hoc committee is it's a committee established under the Constitution, and Parliament has that power to establish such committees to investigate, for Parliament to get to the bottom of matters, to inform parliamentary debates, and to inform legislation or any power that Parliament may have to exercise. So for me, this is more to enhance the work of Parliament as an arm of government. But then when you look at the position of the IGP falls squarely under the executive arm of government, which is headed by the president. And the president it is who has the power to hire and fire IGP at whim. Even if the president has a bad dream tonight, tomorrow per our constitution, he can change the IGP. So what Parliament is doing does not in any way limit the power of the president to do as he may with the position of the IGP. So there are two separate and distinct things, in my view, that Parliament has its remit. They can go ahead and examine the issues, and the committee has its terms of reference. They're supposed to do that and report back to the House, and then their decisions will be taken in an informed manner. So my understanding of the proceedings of this committee is to help sharpen the focus of Parliament in delving into the various issues in the national interest. But it does not in any way encroach on the power of the executive arm to also take whatever action they want to take, which may be disciplinary action against the police officers concerned and all of that.
And with all of this unfolding, with fears that there is a likely impact, adverse one, on the Ghana Police Service, as a former officer of this service, what would you want to see the IGP do now in order to, keep the service intact?
For me, I think that if, after all the dust settles, if these matters are looked into much more seriously, because it has aroused the attention of the whole nation, and so, as I was saying, concerning the executive arm, when we get to that, then what they have, the allegations made against the officers, of course, these are allegations they themselves have made. It may lead to administrative disciplinary action against them, and that was started, but the timing was a bit problematic because you see this leak tape came out much earlier, and I don't want to believe the police administration never knew about it and couldn't have taken action on it until now. Yeah, but it's never too late because the law is the law, and statute of limitation wouldn't have run. In these matters. So the police administration can take action against them even after the ad hoc committee, because as I explained, the ad hoc committee's work does not in any way affect the executive arm's performance of his work, which may include disciplinary action against them, in my view.
Grateful for spending some time with us, lawyer Justin Puara Teriwaja, a lawyer and a former superintendent of the Ghana Police Service. Wrapping up top story here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Blessed Sugan. Next is Newsnight.